What's up everyone, this is a quick guide video that is intended as a companion piece to my GTA Online 2024 beginner guide. There's a link in the video description, so please check it out if you haven't already. Today I'm going to show you the raw video of how I finish the Cayo Perico Heist when I'm grinding for quick cash from start to finish. This will include all the prep missions and of course the finale itself. So what I mean by that is this is not going to be a walkthrough that shows you everything there is to do with the heist. It's not going to show you how to find every secondary target. No, the point of this video is to elaborate on what I was talking about during the Cayo Perico section of the beginner guide. In other words, this is pretty much how I play through the heist every day while also keeping my sanity intact. Basically, what that means is I pretty much speed run through the whole thing, getting the full payout for the heist while playing solo as quickly and easily as possible. While most of this video is straightforward, I'm also going to show you some cool tricks that will help you finish the heist a little easier. So first things first, we begin the heist in our submarine, and anytime we are in the middle of the water, we need to get in the driver's seat and ride over to the beach. Beaching your sub like this means you can easily get to land, and when you finish the prep mission, you can easily get back on the sub. This footage was taken when I was putting together my beginner guide video, and basically I'm going to show you how to get through the prep missions, assuming you only have access to a car. If you follow the beginner guide, you should have this Ocelot Virtue that I'm driving in the video. But even if you have your starter car, it should be pretty much the same thing, just a bit slower. Of course, this process becomes much faster once you have access to the Oppressor Mark II. At that point, traveling to and from the sub becomes a breeze, but I'm gonna assume you're a beginner at this point and you only have access to a car. And honestly, driving the car around isn't too bad. Just throw on a podcast or some music and you're good. So once the sub is beached, we simply go up through the ladder and we could run off the front like this and we're on land. You might take some fall damage, but you'll live. You smash your face against the sand, causing gruesome facial injuries, and it's a bloody mess, but you're all good. I still don't quite understand how fall damage works in this game. Sometimes you take damage, other times you don't, other times you die. It's weird. I don't think you could die running off the sub like this though. You're close enough to the ground that it doesn't seem to be a problem. Call for your car and we could head to the yellow dot. Now, I'm going to try to make this as beginner friendly as possible, but I'd recommend going through the heist a few times yourself first, just to get a feel for the thing, get to know the locations and all that stuff. I'm going to try to make the whole process as simple as possible in this video. Also, I'm not going to talk the whole time because a lot of this is pretty self-explanatory or just simple driving to the objective. Of course, I have the time codes in the video description, so if you want to skip right to the part you're having trouble with, feel free. You don't need to watch me fly across the map for 3 minutes. I'm just leaving all the raw footage in here to give you an idea of how long it actually takes from start to finish. I feel like a lot of videos going through Cayo Perico on YouTube cut things out, so my intent here is to show you the whole process from start to finish. If you see any weird cuts or dissolves, that's actually me cutting out my character pausing and standing around because I like to stop and take notes when I'm putting together a video. So any cuts here are just to take that stuff out. I'm not going to be skipping any actual crucial gameplay. So right now we're heading to the yellow dot on the map where the plane is. This mission is annoying because as you can see, sometimes you have to go all the way to the northern tip of the map to get the plane and then fly all the way south to Cayo Perico. You're pretty much just holding the accelerator for this whole prep until we get to Cayo Perico, where I'll actually have a trick to show you. Like I said, a lot of this is just driving from point A to point B, so for now, I'm just going to let the gameplay play here, as there's really nothing to say. Okay, so we've arrived at the plane. Simply take out all these dudes trying to kill you and get in. Now we get to fly south. Why do they make us do this every time we play through the prep missions? Good question. Like I said, I'm going to leave this in the video so people can look at the video length and get an accurate read on how long this whole process takes, but you can skip ahead to this time code if you want to go straight to Cayo Perico, where I'll show you an important trick. Okay, so here we are in Cayo Perico. The quickest way to get this section done is to get on a motorcycle, cut through the grassy area without being detected, and then cross over the road to the east coast of the island. You basically want to get on the bike and head south until you get to around this general area, then head east. In this video, I end up a little further north, which is fine. All that matters is you carefully make it to the eastern coast of the island without getting seen. Then I'll show you the jump trick, and once you do that, it's a fairly simple ride to the yellow dot on the map. I definitely didn't get this jump on my first playthrough. It's something that requires practice, so don't feel bad if you fail and have to get to the yellow dot by foot instead. But after a few attempts, it becomes easier. As you can see, I kind of take this one really slow and safe. It doesn't matter where you go to head to the east coast, as long as you get there without getting caught. Now I'm going to head towards my purple waypoint, which is around the spot the rock is located that we can jump off of. As long as no cones of vision are on you, ride over to the rock and make the jump. And there it is. Once you're over here, continue to carefully ride south, avoiding any guards or cameras, then make your way towards the yellow dot. It's a lot faster and easier than going by foot. Now, definitely do not do this, because as cool as that looked, if you die, you're screwed and have to do it all over again. At this point, we have to search the communications tower for the signal box. The exact location is random. Sometimes it's all the way at the top of the tower, sometimes it's in the middle, and sometimes it's all the way at the bottom. I actually totally missed that the signal box is at the bottom in this run, so just for your convenience, here's what it looks like when you climb all the way up. The box would be at this spot, but for me it's at the bottom, so let's skip the trip down and hack into the signal box. You now have to clear a simple math minigame. It's basic multiplication, the number on the left multiplied by the symbol on the right, and the sum of the three numbers has to equal the target. The X on the right means 10, the line with 2 lines through it is 2, and the square with a line through it is 1. 76 is pretty high, so I figure we need to do 6 times 10, which is 60 to get started. Then we do 6 times 2, which is 12, 72 total. And finally, 4 times 1 is 4, and 76 is our total. If you have no idea how to do this, you really need to practice your multiplication tables. Or use a calculator. That works too. Now we can access the cameras from the app on our phone, and for my run through, all I do is go to the basement and look around for the primary target. It's either behind the glass or inside the vault. This time it's the tequila behind the glass, which means we're going to do the plasma cutter prep. If it was in the safe, we'd do the safe code prep. They're both pretty much the same. And that's it. I only care about the primary objective when doing this. We can quit out of the cameras and either die or get caught to warp back to the plane and go back to Los Santos. If you haven't already, be sure to scope out the drainage tunnel entry point, which I go over in the beginner guide, which is needed to do this whole heist quickly. Once back in Los Santos, we could use the Find New Session trick. Make sure your spawn location is the Kosatka sub, and do Find New Session to basically fast travel back to the sub. We're back on the sub, and up next, we're going to do the plasma cutter prep. When you enter a new server, you do have to drive the sub back to land, which is a minor inconvenience for sure, but in the big picture, warping back to the sub is saving you time, so it's no big deal. Just get it beached again, and we're going to do the same thing as last time. This one is really straightforward, no special tricks or anything, so I'm going to be mostly quiet for this one, as there's really not much to say. Now we're heading to Rockford Hills to kill some dudes and get the plasma cutter. Usually when it's the safe code prep, you go to the Diamond Casino and kill some guys to get the safe code. It's the same general thing. The great thing about this prep is you can die as many times as you want and there's no real penalty. So I usually die a few times because when I grind Cayo Perico, I'm like watching a movie or something in the background. So keep going in there and killing guys until they drop the plasma cutter. Pick it up and drive back to the sub. We simply swim over until we find the fin on the sub here, climb up, and enter the sub from above. Prep complete. Next up, we're going to do the Fingerprint cloner prep. Once again, this one is super straightforward. Simply head outside, jump off the sub, get in your car and drive over to the yellow dot. Once you arrive, kill the guys inside and play the simple hacking minigame. Then we head to another yellow dot. As you can see, I just felt like doing a really awesome, insane stunt jump right there. Totally didn't get lost and head down the wrong road. Nope. Once inside here, simply run around all the desks and you should pick up the Fingerprint cloner. Leave, drive back to the sub, and this prep is done. Look at this. Turns out the pedestrians in GTA Online have no idea how to react to a giant submarine on the beach. Look at this. They just keep running into it. There's more of them. They're still doing it. Next up, we're going to do the cutting torch prep, and once again, this one is fairly straightforward, not a whole lot to it. We jump out of our sub, get in our car, you know the drill by now. Look at that, full front flip. Very nice, very nice. Once you're at the top, put on the hard hat and go explore the construction site. There's a couple of different areas on the map you could be sent to, but you're always looking for the blue cutting torch inside one of the toolboxes. Eventually, you'll find it. Now head back to your car and drive back to the sub. Do not jump off the side of the building. Trust me, I've tried that to save some time, and what might happen is you could actually trigger a soft lock. If you hit a part of the building and die, you drop the cutting torch. If you die at a spot that isn't normally accessible, you'll drop the cutting torch where you can't access it, which basically locks you out of finishing the prep and you have to start over again. So simply go down the elevators and drive back to avoid any potential problems. Next prep is for the Conspirator weapon loadout, and when we begin the prep, we want to be heading to 707 Vespucci, which is an office. If the game tells you to go to Merryweather HQ, go into your menu, find new session, and try again. The Merryweather HQ version of this prep is much harder, so simply avoid it entirely. Eventually you'll get the 707 Vespucci version of the prep, and you could proceed from there. Once you reach the office, there will be guys outside waiting for you. Take them out and head inside. We want to head to the desk on the left-hand side of the room, but there are a lot of dudes shooting at you in here. As we've learned, dying has no real penalty, so pick them off one by one until finally they're all dead. Complete the hacking minigame to access the gun locker, and simply drive back to your sub. The helicopters tailing you could be annoying, especially when it's freaking raining like crazy and the roads are all slippery. So I open the interaction menu in case I take some damage and need some snacks. But generally your car should be able to outrun them. Head back to the sub to complete the prep. Now we have our final prep, the Kosatka approach vehicle. First things first, go grab the nearby scuba gear, which will make underwater swimming a lot easier. I highly recommend using the sub's fast travel ability to get as close to the yellow dot as possible. You could drive the sub manually all the way there, but I think that's bordering on insanity. $2,000 to fast travel is basically nothing. It's definitely worth saving that time to get there faster, in my opinion. Once you fast travel, submerge under the water and drive the sub forward toward the yellow dot until you're touching the black enemy sub. Once it pops up, you can engage autopilot. Get up and head through the ladder and you'll appear underwater. Make the quick swim over to the enemy sub to go inside. This is where the controls can really kill you. I recommend walking around with your gun aimed like this. It makes it easier to maneuver these close quarters. Shoot the enemies as soon as they appear on screen. We have to explore the sub to find the sonar jammer, which is usually in the main control room of the sub, but may be in another random location, so you may have to explore the whole sub to find it, taking down enemies as you go. It is really easy to die to these guys, and if you do, you'll respawn close by, above water, on a sea-doo. Re-entering the sub is pretty annoying, so try your best not to die too much. You have to bail out of the sea-doo, dive down, and re-enter like this, without getting killed by the dudes patrolling above the water. Rinse and repeat until you finally find the sonar jammer. At that point, exit the submarine the same way you came. It should be an easy underwater swim like this, right back to your sub, and the prep is done. You're now all ready for the big Cayo Perico Heist finale. Make sure you have some snacks and armor, and you can now begin the heist. Approach vehicle will be Kosatka, infiltration point drainage tunnel, compound entry point drainage tunnel, escape point airstrip, time of day is day, weapon loadout conspirators, and no support crew. We're doing this thing totally solo. The beginning is very straightforward. Just swim ahead until you reach the grill, cut through it, and continue forward until you're above ground. This is where the fun begins. This is also the spot you respawn at if you fail the mission and have to try again, so you'll become very familiar with this spot. There's a pretty straightforward run towards the main building where you avoid all cones of vision. Once you reach the building, there's only 3 guards you'll need to take out before reaching the elevator to the basement. Kill this guy and grab the gate key. Then this guy around the corner. Run up the stairs and kill this guy, and now we're pretty much safe. Grab the keycard and open this safe in the wall for a tiny bonus. Now to get downstairs, we have to play the Fingerprint minigame. I basically just match the pixels from one row to the row above, and then move to the next one. Eventually, once you get that muscle memory down, these become quite easy. Head down, take out the guard, and burn through the gate. From here, either get the primary target from behind the glass or inside the vault. Once it's collected, take out the guard and play the Fingerprint minigame again. A guard should run up to you that could be easily knocked out. Now it's time for the hardest trick of the whole heist. Fill up your armor and health completely and go into first person mode. Head out the nearby gate and then go about halfway up these steps, face the wall to the left and press jump. Mash the jump button and tap the control stick slightly to the left or right until you get the positioning just right. This is tight and you might die here, which means you'll have to try again from the respawn point. It's not the end of the world. You'll still get a great payment even if you die a few times. Once you get the jump, it's a straight shot to the yellow cone. Sometimes there's an enemy in your way to shoot, other times it's totally clear, but be ready for an enemy just in case. As soon as you touch that yellow cone, you are safe. That's the trick. It's tough, but it feels real good when you actually get it. Now take out your gun and take out the enemies that drive up to you. Kill this guy, steal his bike, and drive. Drive until you drive off the cliff, then swim away. Eventually you'll get far enough, and you'll clear the mission. No secondary targets collected, but a great payout regardless. Also, this is the least valuable primary target. If you get lucky enough to find one of the more valuable ones, it's even better. Either way, as you can see, the video is about an hour and 10 minutes long. Over 500k in 70 minutes is the best legitimate way to make cash quickly in all of GTA Online. Plus, once you get the oppressor, you should be finishing this in less than an hour. And on top of all that, your nightclub safe is filling up and your acid lab is cooking. If you get good at this whole gameplay loop, as I outlined in the beginner guide, you'll never have to worry about cash again in GTA Online. But yeah, that's about it for today. The Cayo Perico Heist is absolutely key for any GTA Online player, and once you get a routine going like this one, it's very easy money, and a great way to catch up on podcasts. Hopefully this could help anyone just getting started with GTA Online that needs a full walkthrough of the entire heist with preps from start to finish. If you like this video and want to see more GTA Online guides and content, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. With the GTA 6 hype train in full effect, I have a ton of videos in the works, so look forward to more soon. But until next time, thanks so much for watching everyone, and take care.